tale of the heart in a case. The old king had grown weary of seeking a solution. His daughter was wise and beautiful, but her heart burned like fire. It warmed her and seared her. When love touched her, she blossomed. Without it, she withered, avoiding courtly gatherings and music, falling silent. No matter how many sparks flickered in her gaze, no one ever returned her flame. Her fire was too intense, too fearsome to approach. They summoned sages. An astrologer arrived, trailing ink across the sky chart until he spoke. At the princess's birth, the stars formed a rare alignment. One star fell to earth, a molten drop, straight into her heart. Since then, it has burned with unnatural force. Any who draw too near are scorched. And if the flames are not contained, she will burn up in her own passion. The sages shrugged, helpless. So the king turned to a sorcerer. "I cannot kill love," the sorcerer said, "but I can bind it. We'll place her heart in a sturdy case. It will protect your daughter and those who dwell near her. She'll grow thoughtful, composed, build her life, rule her kingdom, and hurt no one." The king wrestled with doubt until dawn, and then he agreed. The princess woke unusually cheerful the next morning and requested her carriage for the upcoming balls. Her laughter was even, her smile impeccably polite. The years rolled on. She ruled with wisdom. Her eyes never again held that fire, and she forgot what it felt like when love made one's heart skip. On his deathbed, gazing at his grown daughter, the old king whispered, "I was wrong. The case protected your life, but stole your joy. Undo this. There's a magical flower, white as snow, hot as flame, that alone can melt the case. Find it, and your true heart returns. You'll be free to love." The king passed, leaving his daughter not only a crown, but a secret. Now queen, she decreed a reward. Messengers spread word far and wide. When it reached the sorcerer, he understood and no longer kept silent. The flower grows in an underground temple beneath the palace. 3 beasts guard it. The flower grants one wish, any wish. That's why many, though they find it, never return. Each is tempted to make their own. "Decide what to tell your knights," he said, "and what to keep to yourself." The queen reflected and chose the truth. Years passed. Nights descended into darkness and returned empty-handed, if at all. Rumors whispered that the beast did not wield fangs, but lived within each man. Yet the queen did not grieve for the knights or for herself. She carried on, administering oaths, offering solemn words, and deep down knew nothing would change. Behind the thick case, her heart felt no pain, but no joy either. One evening, only a single knight stood in the throne room, young, road-weary. "From far away?" the queen asked unusually softly. "Very far, your majesty. I've come to find your flower." "It fulfills any wish, any," she reminded him. "I know, and mine is simple, that you be free to love." "You don't know me," she said with a wry smile. "Don't go. Many don't return. My heart's merely cold, not cursed." "Then what use is life," he murmured, "if your heart remains cold?" Simple words, but something stirred. A warmth long lost began to stir within her. As the night disappeared into the dark corridor, that warmth spread for the first time. She wasn't hoping for success, only for his return. Even without the flower, just alive. Night fell, then footsteps. Even before he emerged into the torchlight, by the lightness of his step, she knew. He had it. In his hands bloomed a white flower, glowing like sunlight on snow. He placed it in her hands and smiled sadly, then collapsed at her feet. She dropped beside him. "Get up! Please, get up!" "He's dead," came a voice. The sorcerer stood in the shadows. "Why are you here?" "For truth. You never asked who the beasts are. First is indifference, defeated only by those who care more for another than for themselves. Second is deceit. It seizes those who lie about their wishes. The third is time. It cannot be beaten. It simply trades one thing for another, the flower, for a life." "That's cruel," the queen whispered. "Why did he accept it?" "Because he spoke truth," the sorcerer said, "and because he loved." The queen clutched the stem, pressing the flower to her chest. "Grant my wish," she murmured. "Let him live. Please." Nothing happened. Silence thickened. Then came pain. Clean, fierce like love once was. Tears fell. One drop touched the knight's cheek, and he breathed, eyes opened. They looked at one another, so close it felt the world had fallen quiet around them. Their lips barely touched, and everything else faded away. "You're not afraid to burn," she whispered. "There's fire in my chest." "I fear only its absence," he smiled. "It's not fire that's dangerous, but emptiness." "But I never asked for the case to be removed." "It didn't have to be. It burned away." "They told me men fear fire," she said, a quiet jest gleaming in her voice. "Only those who've never truly burned," he replied. "Will we stay together?" "So long as love's fire burns," he said, and no louder vow was needed. The sorcerer stood beneath the trees listening, not with ears but with his own heart. The lovers were silent, yet their silence roared. He bowed and left. The queen looked up. The sky was open. The palace breathed. And within her, where once the case had been, burned a flame, not searing but alive, a fire meant for two. Since then, few dared the temple below. The beasts had not vanished. They lived beside each of us. But one day, should someone brave indifference, resist deceit, and strike a bargain with time, the white flower would bloom again for their one true wish. And the queen no longer feared silence. In silence, she heard the breath of two hearts and the whisper of a blaze that harmed no one. It lit the path, and that was enough.